Wairea te rangi e tū nei, wairea te papa e takoto nei, wairea te taumata kōrero o ngā mātua, ko mene ki te pō, tihei, Māori ora e tātou mā, nau mai hoki mai ki tēnei punua pāho, tēnei pāhorangi e ki ana, the Taumata Kōrero. I am your host, Rani Harrison, back with a vengeance. And boy, oh boy, I've got one heck of a sharpshooter sitting with me. I'm actually in his whare at the moment, in one of the most ritziest establishments in Rotorua City, Takurangatira, Tamati Coffey. Tēnā koe, Chief.
Tēnā koe, hoa.
Bro, ka tukuna te wahanga ki a koe, I'll throw it over to you. Māupe e whakamarama mai ko ai koe, o iwi, o ngā mana, ngā tapu katoa kei runga i a koe. Tell us a bit about yourself, bro.
Sure. So, taku pāpa no Te Āti Awa, taku māma no Te Arawa waka, mai make tū ki Tongariro. We are Tūhourangi-Ngāti Wāhiao, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, Ngāti Te Roro, Te Rangi, Ngāti Whakaue. We get our mana whenua from there, but on my dad's side, we're the Coffeys actually from Taranaki.
True.
And back when the wars kicked off in Taranaki, back in the day, there was a big migration of whānau that went from Taranaki down to Wellington, down to Lower Hutt specifically, and we've been there ever since. So I grew up in Lower Hutt in Wellington, but I've ended up here in Rotorua on mum's side, so yeah. That's us.
And I mean, it's the role that you're currently, well, one of the hats that you have, the incumbent MP for Waiariki. Talk us through that. How's that kind of been? It's been a roller coaster, I would imagine, bro.
Yeah. It's been, it's huge. It's a privilege, first of all, to have the mana, for people to give you the mana to go and represent them down in Wellington. You know, that's a huge thing. We talk about declining rates of voter participation, Māori participation in the political process, but actually in 2017, the people of the Waiariki decided that I was the person that they wanted to send to Wellington to do the biz, and I wear that proudly. It's tough though, you know. You go down there and it's a different world. It's a different world, and so I spent my first year just trying to figure out how it all worked, you know. And I came in on a bit of a tidal wave of new MPs within the Labour Party. There was 17 of us that started on the same day, and so we've all spent the last year or so just figuring out how it all works. But actually, I think there's something different about being a Māori MP. You're held to a very high standard by your people, and you know, it's a gift and a curse in itself. But you can never be in enough places. You know, yesterday we were up at Omaio doing the signing for Te Whānau Apanui. They've signed their agreement in principle. That's cool. But then in the same day, I got a message from somebody down in Taupo saying, "Hey, why aren't you down here?" You know, and so when you've got an electorate, you know, and our Māori electorates are huge. You can never quite win, but you pick your battles, you know, and you do your best.
Bro, I want to take you back to the night of the general election. That would have been one of the most critical times in your life, in that year. What was that like, knocking off the then Minister of Māori Development, Te Roro, Takumata Takurangatira, who's Mōhio Tau has gone on to lead Te Wānau o Aotearoa now. That must have been a big time for you and your family. Coming along like Jacinda Ardern, that was a political phenomenon. Talk me through that night. What was that night like for you?
Well, first of all, that night was the culmination of a whole. I'd pretty much been campaigning quietly for about a year before then. So that was the Taumata really. But on that journey, I had been around the Waiariki. I'd talked to people on the ground, and there was a bit of dissatisfaction about gains for Māori, you know, and people that had felt as though they wanted to back the Māori Party to be able to get them those wins, weren't quite happy that actually they'd decided to team up with the National Party, and that was quite a crucial thing, because a lot of our whānau had said for years we actually we pulled away from Labour back in the foreshore seabed. Same, I did too. But actually, Labour had spent enough time in the naughty corner, and people were happy to start entertaining us again. If you have a look at it contextually, actually the Māori Party's popularity was on the wane, and actually to the point where they only had one seat left, which was this seat, the Waiariki, and that kind of spoke volumes. And there were people out on the ground that weren't happy that enough was being done in terms of housing for our people. Such a simple thing, but here in Rotorua, which is Te Roro's stronghold, actually we got pinned with the second worst homeless rate in the country. There were people sleeping in their cars, and so even the locals here were going, something's wrong with this picture. So they were ready for change, and I went out there saying, well, if you want change, then you vote for me. No bad on Matua Te Roro, but this is the game you play, right? When you put your hand up for politics, it goes one way or the other. And if you believe in democracy, if you believe in power to the people, and I do, the people put you there, but the people can also take you away too.
Yeah. Bro, I've been following your journey a bit, and I've seen you come through numerous roles, positions, responsibilities. I'm going to go out on a limb and make an executive call here that if not the biggest role and responsibility is coming, as you're expecting to be taking on, if not the biggest task possible, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, bro. Let's get into the wānanga. Let's talk fatherhood.
Yep.
And it's not an interesting take because it's normal, but a different take on what a normal whānau would see as fatherhood, bro. How's that for you? Talk me through that, bro.
Yeah, it's such a huge journey, because when you grow up gay, one of the first realizations that I had was, well, if I'm gay, then that means that there's no waihi on site, so means no babies, right? Means that actually your line's going to stop with you. So you start having these conversations from a really early age, and I think that's kind of the turmoil that goes through your mind when you're young and thinking, do I really want this life, or should I choose the easy life? And which then opens up the option of having babies and stuff. But if you're true to yourself, and I was true to myself, I decided, okay, no, I'm not going to lie about myself. This is who I am. I need to embrace it. But one of the trade-offs, as I thought when I came out when I was 15, was actually that I was never going to be able to have kids. So you just kind of write that off, put it in the box in the corner and go, that's not my life. I don't have that option. I'll just, focus on what I have got the ability to do in the short time that we're all here. Yeah. And then when I met my partner Tim, we talked about having kids, and there are stories about other people carrying for you and stuff like that, and we've had those conversations for quite a while. And then recently we decided, hang on, we're nearly 40. I turn 40 in a few months' time. He turns 40 a few months after that, and we just said, this is our time. If we're going to do it, let's really put our heads into this and see where we can get to. And fortunately, we met a beautiful wahine that said that she would be really happy to carry for us. And, it's kind of emotional, that stuff, because for somebody to want to give up their life for a year whilst they carry somebody else's baby, and then when the day comes, be able to hand baby over, that's a huge, selfless, emotional journey. And thankfully we found somebody that was willing to go on that journey with us. And she's about a week until baby comes, and we've been psyching ourselves up and trying to manaki her as much as possible. Yep. But it's a journey that actually we're also recording. We're doing a documentary with Sunday at TVNZ, because one of the reporters there is somebody I used to work with, and he said, I would love to tell your story. And I know him, I trust him, and he's been on an IVF journey before, and they've got a little daughter out of that. And he said, I'd love to tell your story, because I think that we should normalise what modern families look like, and your story could help lots of other people out there. So we're telling that story, and I think it's going to be a good one, an emotional one. But yeah, we're basically at this moment just waiting by our phones for a phone call.
Bro, myself, I've got 2 kids, a 4-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, bro. And the week before, if I can take myself back 4 years and 2 years respectively, the week before my partner was about to drop, I was scared shitless. Honestly, do we have enough nappies? Do we have enough clothes? Do we have enough, I think it's whether or not you're homosexual, heterosexual, or anything sexual, bro, like the week before your partner or your baby is about to arrive, it's huge, bro. You and Tim must be It must be getting real.
Yeah, it is getting real. The thing that we've got different is that our mama that's caring for us lives in Te Awamutu, so we're kind of living the journey a bit vicariously through her via Facebook, but we try and get over as much as possible. We've met all of her whānau, and she's come over here and she stays with us heaps of times. Yeah. In fact, just this last week she came down to Wellington because we had a baby shower down there in Parliament, and she said, I'm cool to come down if you want me to. And we said, but you're 38 weeks pregnant. And she said, I'll see if Air New Zealand have got any rules around that. And we found out that actually they were good with it. So she jumped on a plane and came down and hung out with us. But the coolest part was, sure, we had the baby shower. That was awesome. Got some presents from some colleagues and awesome to that. But the coolest thing was when I got home that night from my day at work, she was on the couch, puku, big as. Tim's there. Tim's mum's flown in from England to help us through this process. She's a registered nurse. She was a registered nurse. She's now retired. But she was there just kind of helping Tash understand what was going on, because Tash was in some pain because Bubba was in there having a little punching match all by himself, and it was really sore for her, but thankfully Tim's mum was able to just coach her through and say, it's okay, remember, just breathe, you're okay, he's doing this, he's doing that, but he's down, he's engaged, and I reckon it's going to be any day.
Awesome. As you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, true, why do we need to redefine what a modern what a family construct looks like? We've put this mum, dad, 2 kids equals family. Yeah. What's your take on that, bro? Because I mean, you would have been going through these over these whakaaro since you were 15, since you thought, okay, this is where my whakapapa stops. Yep. What's your take on that?
I think that the idea of the nuclear family, mum, dad, 2 kids, is just is an ideal and a construct that was made once upon a time to kind of give people something to aim towards, but the reality is so different. And just within my own whānau, mum, dad, eldest sister, my eldest sister, she was sent back here to Rotorua to be whānau back to my nan and koro. That there is, is a bit different. So she grew up here under nan and koro's watch. So then it was just me and my other sister. My other sister had her son when she was 16 years old, and he's now got 3 kids of his own, to 3 different wahine, and for better or worse, that's just what it is, And so then he's got his own kids. Then there's me and Tim, and obviously that encompasses all of his whānau. So this is not new, modern families are not new. That ideal that we used to hang on to is long gone. We just need to, like I always say to our whānau, they're just whānau, everybody's whānau, and even our mama, while she's caring for us, when we decided to embark on this journey with her, I said to her, you're going to be part of our whānau now, and even though you won't be there on a day-to-day basis, we're going to be in your life forever now, and you'll be in ours, and we need to be okay with that. And she was like, it brought a tear to her eye, because she's got 3 kids of her own, and she doesn't have a dad walking around. She's in a lesbian relationship, and she said to us, if you guys can help with some dad duties every now and then for my 3 kids, then she goes, I'd really appreciate that. And we're like, we got that. We got double daddies here. We can help out, and it's really cool for her to have that option. But again, it's that modern family, and just acknowledging that we're all different, and we all bring our own stuff to the table. But let's just love each other and look after each other. Yeah,
bro. I want to take you back to the 15-year-old Tamati Coffey, I'm guessing, in Wellington.
Mm-hmm. Lower Hut's the more.
Say it.
Working class side of Wellington. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah. Because people think Wellington, they think the Beehive, they think all these government officials suits. Working around suits. Yeah. One like that in the Hut. The Hut's different. The Hut is where people wore overalls to go to work. And we made cars and biscuits, and everybody worked for the railways. Think Wellington, classy, sipping lattes. The Hut, overalls. Mum used to go to work in a smock every day, just so that she didn't get dirty. But that's how it went. Anyway, so the Hut, yes.
Yeah, let's go back there. And one thing you did say was you had to come to a realisation that your whakapapa was going to stop as a Māori male, talking to another Māori male, that kind of hits you hard. Like, we look at whakapapa in the books, and, we've all read a whakapapa book, and you see, oh, no issue.
Yeah, no issue.
And that's like, and I'm like...
That's a good name for a biography, though.
That is.
Yeah, no issue.
What and I'm sitting there like, well, what's the story behind that no issue? Like, we talk about, we see these names lined up in a book, but the actual story is in the line. What happened for the father to create the son, to create the grandson, to create... What was going through the mind of 15-year-old Tamati Coffey thinking, shit, my whakapapa, my family's whakapapa could stop with me?
Yeah, I think I'd just kind of, in my head, just... because I'd written it off in my head as being, this isn't an option, so I can't focus on that. I'm not going to, because you can dwell on that, you know, and that can actually get you into a dark place if you focus on that. And I think that 15-year-old Tamati just said, this is the way that it is. If I've got another 60, 70 years on this world, in this life, then actually let's make it a bloody good 60, 70 years, whatever, however long I've got, let's make it good. Let's add some value to your life. Let's be happy. Let's enjoy every moment, because when it stops with you. Yeah. And you shouldn't be sad about that, but that's your lot, you know. And I'll throw this in, you know, there are heterosexual couples too that don't have kids, you know. Some of them are still no issue, you know, and they've had to grapple with that too. You know, women who have passed the age of being able to have kids, they face that battle too, and that makes, you know, and I know some of those women who it does make them sad, but you either sit there and you dwell on it and it gets you down, or you just pick yourself up and go, that's not my role in this world. So actually, what is my role? And let's go and have some fun.
Yeah. So if that's the 15-year-old Tamati, what about the 39? Like, you kind of touched on it, going, okay, this is a possibility now. I'm in a loving relationship now, and we're ready to take that next step forward. We're set up financially. We've got, you know, a booming business here in Rotorua at home.
Yep.
Family is the next logical step.
Yeah, and being able to navigate that path, because there's not much publicity out there for how a gay couple was able to have kids. Yeah. You know, and so we had to go out there and find that ourselves. Yep. We actually signed up to a fertility clinic, and we got this amazing counsellor who told us how it was going to be, and said, these are your options. But one of the things that they said was, but we don't have a register that you can just flick through and find a name of somebody that's going to carry for you. Our laws aren't set up like that here in New Zealand, but they are in other countries. In some countries around the world, there's actually a register, a surrogacy register, and you can pick somebody that has put themselves forward to say, I will carry for somebody, and then you can actually, like a transaction, you can pay them if they're willing to put themselves out there like that. And that doesn't exist in New Zealand. So whilst we have gone on this journey and our mama's carrying for us, the law says that I can't pay her to carry, because then it's a commercial transaction, and that's not allowed according to New Zealand law. So what we can do is we can pay for the cleaner, we can pay for the chiropractor, we can pay for a midi for her, we can pay for whatever else she might need. So in kind, we can do that. The lawnmower man, you know, to go around and do all of that, so she doesn't have to do that stuff. We can do that, but we can't actually physically pay, and that's, you know, that's just how it is. Yep. The cool thing is that obviously I'm monitoring this process, because I'm in a unique position where I can change this, right? Yeah, bro, and so I'm watching every step of the way to see how this works and how it could be better, and what kind of things government could do to make things better for gay couples. What
are you seeing so far? Because you'd be watching this like a hawk. I know. Like, and I mean, if it does help other, and especially Māori, well, not actually, no. Let's not make this a race thing. Men, to perpetuate their whakapapa. You know, so that 15-year-old boy in Lower Hutt doesn't have to face what he faced 24 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't fully made my finished my research at the moment. When baby comes, and there's still time after when baby comes to kind of assess the situation too. But I've already got some thoughts running around in my head about how we could definitely make this better for the young gay 15-year-old kid that's watching from Lower Hutt, you know, or from anywhere in the country, thinking, is this it for me? Yeah.
This is it strikes me as interesting, your fertility story. With regards to, like, we've seen, I think first was Labour-list MP Willow Jean Prime bringing baby into Parliament. That was awesome. Then we had the Prime Minister herself, Jacinda Ardern, bringing Neve. You know, that was awesome. But now we have the likes of yourself bringing a baby born from surrogacy into Parliament. Like, this is the way in which this is a true reflection. This Labour government is actually a true reflection, and I don't want to like gas you guys up or anything, but like this is actually a true reflection of society. It's real, bro. It's real stuff. And
I love the direction that that our Speaker of the House that he's kind of thrown over Parliament to say we should be kid friendly, we should be more child friendly, and what are we doing to actually make sure that our members of Parliament are supported? Because we go down there, but we're not independent of our whānau. Our whānau is us. You know, the reason we go down there to do the biz is because we want to make life better for our whānau and for New Zealand in general. And so for him to go down, you know, for him to cast his net out and grab Henny, Willow Jean's little bubba, and put her on his knee in the house while the house is sitting, you know, that's next level kind of stuff. And I do tell the story that it was quite funny because Willow and I, we sit in the finance committee together, and when she'd just had Henny, I knew that Henny was still in the building and around because she still needed to breastfeed. And one time we were in our select committee and I was writing my notes, and then out of the corner of my ear I heard this and I looked up and I was like, and I look across and there's Willow, she's breastfeeding while she's making notes as well, and I was sitting there going, I love this job. I love this job. I love how modern, you know, an environment we're in, that actually we can sit in the select committee, hearing from the governor of the Reserve Bank, and next to me is my mate who's just breastfeeding, and nobody's batting an eyelid, you know. Everyone's That's just awesome. Carrying on as normal. But it is a step change in terms of New Zealand politics because it is a tough environment down there. Yeah. But I believe that the more that we can bring our whānau in and make it a whānau-friendly place, make it a child-friendly place, I think the more it would kind of de-ice the tension, the politics in Parliament. Sometimes we're quite removed from children in that environment, and I think that's a bad thing. They have those programs called Roots of Empathy, where they put a little baby into a classroom so that young kids that don't have kids around in their whānau can actually understand what it's like to hold a precious baby, and actually the little naughty kids, you know, have suddenly got something to concentrate on. Yeah. And I think that in Parliament it's the same thing. When we're sitting in the debating chamber and you hear a baby cry, you know, you're like, it just snaps you out of it, and you go, a baby. Yeah. Oh, that's right, a baby. Where is that baby? You know, and suddenly your mind drifts into a really lovely, cushy little space, you know, and that's the effect that babies have on us, you know. It reminds us that we're actually human, and keep us real. How's
the last 8 months been? You know, of this fatherhood journey since
since the day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
But so unsure, you know.
True.
When you've done it before, you just roll with it and you know what to expect. Yep. But when you've not done this before, there's no template, there's no book to read or anything like that, which gives you the answers on how you're going to feel and all that kind of stuff. So, really, we've been a bit anxious. We've also been really excited at the same time, knowing that at any time, you know, the inevitable could happen too. You know, sometimes mamas don't carry to full term and baby dies in the process, and you know, so we had to brace ourselves for that, which is why we never wanted to talk openly about it, because I didn't want to, if things went wrong, have to do that publicly. Yeah. That's not a nice thing for anybody to go through, let alone to feel like you have to be dragged through the New Zealand media about your grief. And so we've been really careful about that, but we're nearly there. So I guess I'm opening up a bit more and, you know, taking the breath out and going, okay, we're good. I think we're good. Touch wood. Touch wood.
Let's carry on. I wanted to run off that point and talk. You're in a special position where you've been in the newsroom and you're now a familiar, recognised face on the other side of the coin, outside of the newsroom. How do we deal with media, whānau, and the families, especially the kids of those in high-profile positions? You think we're doing all right?
Yeah. I think that those of us that are, well-known people, when you I believe that you have to draw your own lines about what acceptable looks like, And I know I've got friends that say, no, don't film my kids. I don't want my kids involved in any of this. And then they go and fill up their Instagram with bubba, And I think, well, you can't kind of say don't, and then you, on one hand, and then, you go and put it out there for the world to see. So I think that every individual's got to have that conversation about where acceptability lies within, what they think is okay. Yeah, if everybody has their own boundaries.
What sort of dad are you going to be? You're going to be on Instagram? You giving it thought? I'm sure.
I look at my friends, and they all say, "Oh, we're not going to do that, not going to do that," and then baby comes in, is all there, And so, I'm often already, without even posting to Instagram, I take a disproportionate amount of photos of my dogs, just because, the dogs are there and, the light's right and it looks good and it tells a story. And I can just think that when Bubba comes along, there will be those photos. How many of it make it onto social media, I'm not sure. But I do want to protect Bubba too. I don't, just because I'm out there, doesn't mean that Bubba has to be dragged through there. And one day Bubba's going to need to start school. And I don't want to pave out what Bubba's life is going to look like. Want to kind of, as much as possible, protect Bubba from that. But I don't know. I think it might be inevitable.
It's been really interesting. I've been following the way in which the New Zealand media has reacted to Neve, the baby of just Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. And it's been like there was a lot of intense focus building up to the day that baby was born. That was cool. But I think the majority of media outlets here in New Zealand have been really respectable, and I think it's set a new wave of how we're approaching those families in high profile positions. And I don't know what the PM side of that story is, I got it told to me that one day she was outside Parliament pushing baby up Hill Street, just taking baby for a walk in the pram, but surrounded by her bodyguards and everything, and her security. So she was, wanting to do something so simple as walk her baby in the pram, but obviously that comes with challenges too, and she's got to take her squad with her wherever she goes, even if it's just pushing baby in a pram. But I haven't seen too much hounding of the PM's baby. I know that maybe in other countries they'd go big on the paparazzi side of that equation, but I feel happy that I don't feel as though the Prime Minister's being stalked. I don't feel as though baby's being stalked. But like I say, she might have her own opinion on that. So you're relatively happy in which the climate, I suppose, and political climate that both your and Tim's baby will be brought into as well. I'm at peace with where we're at. I don't think I like to think that even in our media we've still got common sense, and we still respect people's boundaries, and when they say don't film, that actually they do stop filming. But these days everyone's got a camera in their pocket, and so you got to always remember that. I'm gonna start wrapping us up, Chief, but I wanna throw it back to you and let you kind of wrap us up with some words of wisdom from. I mean, you've seen a lot since the general election. That's kind of when it really, well, for me and my conscience, where it took off. Wrap us up how your journey's been with regards to culminating in fatherhood potentially next week or potentially tonight.
It could be, It's been a huge journey. My friends say to me, I don't know how you squeeze it all in, managing to get out around the electorate, go to all of the tangi and the celebrations that you go to, whilst managing Wellington, whilst making sure that back here on the home front, you got the businesses going, and then chucking fatherhood in there too. But you know what? I always maintain that life is short, and you only need to pick up a newspaper to see that somebody's life has been cut short because of one reason or another. And I just believe that while we've got life, we need to live it as much as possible and enjoy it and add to other people's happiness if we get that opportunity to. And so that drives me to make sure that I'm living it and that I don't leave anything outstanding. Leave it on the field.
Beautiful. Bro, I'm going to wrap us up here. We're going to throw to the next segment, Waiata o Te Wiki, and I'm going to, I think the correct Waiata to throw this week is from my beautiful sister, Piki Te Ora Murahita, who's of Homai Te Pakipaki fame.
Oh, yep.
Beautiful wahine. Ko tā tātou Waiata I tēnei wiki e tātou mā mehe pua wai koe, kia mau tonu mai. Ka tira e tātou mā koe rā ko tā tātou waiata I tēnei wiki mehe pua wai koe nā Piki Te Ora Murahita. Koe rā ko te Taumata Kōrero mō tēnei wiki kaitaku rangatira e te tuakana kānui te mihi kia koe kia kaurua ko Tim. E whakarite nei kia whānau mai ko tā tātou tamaiti hou ki tēnei ao mārama e noho nei tātou. I'm excited for our new, another strong Māori male to be brought into this world. It's a very exciting time in your household and for mō tātou katoa. E tātou mā, that was the Taumata Kōrero for another wiki, another week of beautiful wānanga done and dusted. Kei ware koutou, kia tūhono mai rā, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, te mea, all over the place. You know where it is, the Taumata Kōrero. Kia hoki anō rā ki era kupu rongonui ra wātu ko te pō e ka tau. Tēnei te Taumata Kōrero, ka huri. Kōrero.